This is the Head Youtek Radical Pro. It has a nice open string pattern. It's a standard length racket weighing about 11.5 ounces. It also has just a slightly headlight balance. Let's go ahead and check in with those playtesters to see what they think. And first up we have Kana. Kana is our female playtester for this review. So Kana, what are your thoughts on the Radical Pro?
I had some mixed feelings on it. It feels pretty good on the baseline. I felt if I hit a little out of the sweet spot, it did flutter a little, even in that 100 square inch head size. I still got my shots really deep and aggressive. Really heavy racket, actually. For me, it weighs in at 11.6 and then comes in at like a heavy swing weight, which is a lot harder for me because I'm used to a lighter swing weight with my normal racket and a lot more headlight. So it's very hard for me to maneuver this. So I think I actually preferred the mid plus, but it's still a good stick. But yeah, I'm gonna stick with it. A little too heavy for me.
All right. Now we're here with the forehand, otherwise known as Jason. So what are your thoughts, Jay?
You know, on paper, this racket seemed to kind of be right up my alley. It's close to 12 ounces. I kind of like a little bit heavier racket. But I found, kind of like Kana, I had kind of mixed feelings about this racket. It was, the swing weight's kind of high. I felt a little sluggish on it. Also, what I was surprised with the mid, where it was really control oriented, even though I didn't expect it, this racket was a lot more powerful than I expected. I found my shots to be, especially with the open string pattern, to have a lot of pace, have a lot of bite. And my favorite shot hitting with this is probably the backhand slice. It has plenty of plow through. Right. So combined with the polyester and the open string pattern, I was able to really knife through the ball on the slices. So it was a great racket, but just the swing was a little too high for me. But I think if you have the strokes and the power to use it, it'd be a great stick.
Next up we have Danny. So Danny, what are your thoughts on this Radical Pro?
Well, again, you know, my first impressions of this racket, kind of similar to the mid plus, is that when you pick it up, it's kind of different because it feels pretty heavy. It's only 11.6 ounces, but I think it feels a little bit heavy because the balance on it is only 2 points headlight. The feel of it compared to the mid plus is still crisp, it's still firm, kind of stiffer feeling. I would have chose this as being my favorite racket out of the ones that we tested, if it was just a little bit more stable. Anytime I hit it in the sweet spot, it felt great. It felt great on my arm. I got good power, I got good spin. But anything just slightly out of the sweet spot, it was just a little jarring to my arm, which I didn't like. But I still had control with this. It still felt good on my overheads and volleys. If it was just slightly more stable, I would pick this as my favorite. But out of the ones we tested, I'd probably say a mid plus is more designed for me. Okay. But not a bad racket. I would definitely recommend someone to try this out. Pretty solid. I liked it.
And now we're here with our last playtester for today, Troy. So Troy, what are your thoughts?
As this playtest went on, the racket really grew on me. My racket that I use is a Den string pattern. So getting used to the open pattern took me a little while for control, but generating the amount of spin that I did with it, it was really fun to hit with at the baseline. Another thing that really sticks out, like Danny was saying, is the swing weight's pretty high. So it takes some work to get the racket in position, but once you get the racket going, ton of plow through. And really stood out in volleys too. That high swing weight really gives you a lot of stability, and it just punches through the ball. So overall, it made my game a little bit better, I think.
All right. Great. Thanks so much, Troy.
Thanks.
And that wraps it up for this edition of the review. Thanks for watching.